Virtual reality can predict what you want before you know when you want it. Scary dystopia, but it's kind of familiar.
HappiMoto.
2020 is the year of virtual and augmented reality. Sony, aka the creator of PlayStation, has introduced a new headset. Facebook, aka Meta, introduced the second version of their Oculus. Canon, best known for video and photography, has introduced Kokomo, their new virtual reality 3D phone calling. Even HTC has partnered with healthcare startups to create trackers to monitor health for healthcare companies. Over 1/3 of Americans use VR at least once a month. But what is the metaverse? Most simply, meta is a Greek prefix that means transcendent, but a direct meaning of meta means to be on top of something else. The term was originally coined in Snow Crash, a dystopic novel by Neil Stephenson. In that book, the main characters spent most of their time in the metaverse, which was a group of computers in the desert because they wanted to escape their real life. That is scary dystopia, but it's kind of familiar. A lot of people are bored, unhappy with their circumstances, and just dissatisfied. The modern consumer improves their circumstances through commercial involvement. It sounds dirty to say, but it's true. And the stakes for holding a consumer are higher than ever. Consumer attention span is shorter than ever, and during the lockdowns we learned just how few escapes people have. When the festivals were over and the bars were closed, people had no way to get away from the drudgery of life. They were living within their home office. At its core, the metaverse is just augmented reality and virtual reality. But according to the CEO of Soul Machines, at some point in the future, you may create a digital version of yourself so you can create copies of that person that can go do other things for you in the metaverse while you're busy having more fun in real life. But wasn't the metaverse an escape from the drudgery of real life? We become our internet personality. We become the Sasha Fierce to Beyonce, the Hannah Montana to Miley. So if the metaverse is supposed to be freedom from the drudgery of real life, then why are we filling the metaverse with digital workers? New Zealand-based tech startup Soul Machines has created a digital brain with a proprietary software. These digital humans are autonomous animation, meaning they do not have pre-recorded responses. They use a webcam to see your facial responses so they can communicate with you. These digital people are becoming the non-player characters of the metaverse. But the future could include digital human WHO representatives, and even digital New Zealand police. It's not games anymore, but Mr. Koss is quick to say that he will not sell out to politicians or corporations no matter what, that the Human 2.0 software cannot be corrupt, even though it's owned by a tech company. They promise, but it's not all a dystopian future. Problems are being solved with VR. Virtual reality exposure therapy is used to help people with phobias. It involves controlled introduction of situations or objects to help patients learn how to manage the fear. Researchers are using VR to explore discrimination based on race, gender, and economic background, using VR to make high-pressure decision-making, even using VR to track the consequences of global climate change, or better yet, teach people what it looks like. The Stanford Ocean Acidification Experience, where viewers can observe the ocean absorbing CO2 molecules and watch as the rocky reef degrades and marine life disappears, making a personal and visual impact for the consequences of pollution. So there is a possibility that your future includes VR, the metaverse. So that is scary dystopia, but it's kind of familiar. Scientists show that virtual reality disrupts a child's coordination strategy, something to be considered when introducing VR to children. This means that VR disrupts a child's ability to prioritize vision and vestibular inputs. Canadian research shows that children who are introduced to screens as little as 2 hours per week show behavioral changes, most obvious in children that are exposed to screen time 2 hours per day. The threats of VR are not that different than discussions around video games. Research actually shows that even though children may be playing a violent video game, there is not a direct correlation to violence, despite what the parents say, even though they see their children being more violent after video games. So imagine in your future, rather than scrolling through YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, or Twitter, you can be in a virtual reality that knows all about your health and your interests so that it can predict what you want before you know when you want it. The metaverse knows what concert I want to go to. They track what songs I bob my head to and who I found attractive at the concert, even how much alcohol I may have drank. At a more dystopian level, this could cause non-lethal harm, mental and psychological, egotistic programming, psychological programming, and digital manipulation. Just because it's online doesn't mean that the consequences are artificial. These tech CEOs know that there is a life beyond the computer. There are herbs to grow and autumn leaves to brush, but if they can convince millions of people to abandon atom bits for computer bits, the material for the symbolic, then people would need to have non-virtual versions of life that haven't yet been pulled to the online world. If the public could be just as satisfied with the metaverse and their online persona as real life, then slowly and eventually the material world will fall away, leaving a perfectly monetized reality. The push from Facebook and Epic Games paint a snow crash version of a future technology that is largely unreachable to the average person. These tech billionaires make the metaverse seem like something they have access to and you don't. But at a low price, what is sometimes a year's salary in other countries, you too can be a part of the metaverse. The reality of the metaverse is that it will be for some people. A lot of us will still be focusing on the real world. The metaverse can only offer artificial experiences, artificial money, and items. The metaverse of Facebook and Epic Games is the capitalist snow crash. It will become a natural extension of the digital gaming and gig economy while opening the doors of innovation to VR. But every metaverse is built by a company and therefore built on a company's interests and values. So is the metaverse bad for the soul? The metaverse is not this digital other realm that can be accessed by anyone, anywhere, anytime. Every metaverse will be its own company, focused on taking us away from reality, the present moment, anything that takes us away from time with nature, the present moment, and heart consciousness is bad for us, is bad for the soul. Will the metaverse have consequences on the soul? Will the metaverse have negative consequences? Probably. Will it take your job away, or will your job become digital? Maybe. But it will take a long time, and a lot of things will change between now and then, both in science and culture. I believe humanity has been moving to a heart consciousness perspective, and I don't think virtual reality can slow that down, but there are traps in VR. People could lose all of their life being online like they already do. So maybe counter your VR time with a walk in nature, some meditation, drink all the water that you need. But for now, we can watch the VR industry grow and hold those accountable who have power. Thanks for watching my video. And what do you think? Do I have an optimistic view on the future of the metaverse? I want to hear your feedback. Subscribe and I'll see you in the universe.